And welcome back. South Florida has a sizable Jewish community. There are almost 200 synagogues and congregations built to serve more than 500,000 local Jews. The Orloff Central Agency for Jewish Education has been part of the Broward County community for many years, providing opportunities for children and for adults to learn and to connect with their Jewish faith. Joining us today is Rabbi Arnold Samlin, who is the new executive director of the Orloff CAGE. He is a passionate advocate of Jewish education and is taking the CAGE in new directions in these changing times. And Barbara Johnson is a member of the CAGE board. Forgive me for that. Thank you both for joining us this morning. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Rabbi,
likewise.
Let me start with you. You've got about 6 months on the job, is that right?
Indeed.
So what are your initial impressions of the Jewish community here in South Florida?
So the Jewish community of Broward is a very vibrant and active community. It's also a very diverse community. What we're trying to do since the time I've gotten there and before as well, is really to reach all segments of the community and engage them in Jewish learning of all sorts on a highest quality level possible.
Barbara, let me ask you, how do you do that? Because you talk about a diverse community, so you've got people from all different sort of divisions within the Jewish community, and here you are trying to educate them all. That sounds like a big task.
Well, we want to raise the number of community members that are engaged in quality, lifelong Jewish learning, and the way to do that is to make it relevant. I myself was a late Jewish learner. And I came in, and because of my learnings with SAGE in the last 8 years, I've become passionate. And I was very uncomfortable with Judaism in discussing it with members of other religions. And now I can easily participate in that. So I feel that is helping for me to give back to the community, make myself a better person all around, and share with those around me. And I think that's what we need to focus on in bringing people in.
I know, Rabbi, that there is a focus on educating teens.
Yes.
Educating high school students. And here we are in the 21st century when you're competing with social media and streaming video and apps and you name it. How do you break through all of the clutter and try to get your message across to young people?
Well, so part of the way we do that is by working not against the stream, but with the stream. So whether it's in the programs that we ourselves run or whether it's programs that are run by our partners in the field where we're sometimes the knowledge and the ideas behind the frontline people, we're trying as much as possible to engage teens and to have other professionals engage teens in ways that touch them where they are. Rather than necessarily bringing them into our buildings, we try to go out to where they're at. We're actually taking a group that leaves shortly to Poland and to Israel to be able to reach out, touch, experience what were the tragedies of the Holocaust and the celebration of the State of Israel. We also have ideas that we're beginning to implement now that will bring teens into things like philanthropy and entrepreneurship, so that it's no longer sitting behind a desk or sitting in a classroom, but it's really bringing the learning out into the community, into their world.
And Barbara, I know there are programs too that are specifically for adults. Talk to us about reaching out to some people who perhaps were bar or bat mitzvahed when they were younger, but have since, gone on to careers and family and are busy people who might say to themselves, I don't have time for Jewish learning anymore.
Yes, we have very diverse programs. One of the programs we did recently was at West Regional Library during the day where we discussed Israel and the Middle East. We had a program recently in someone's home. It was a living room session. We brought a University of Miami professor in to speak about Judaism and our relationship with the environment. It was fascinating.
It happened to actually be someone who herself wasn't Jewish, but was coming in to teach Judaism, which was great.
It was, and we had a lot of people there who weren't Jewish because we engage everyone. But recently, we did engage the younger generation, and for the first time ever, Rabbi Samlin took a group of met with a group of the younger generation and did a Talmud and tequila on Las Olas Boulevard.
I wanted to ask you about
Indeed.
that. Anytime you talk about tequila shots and the Talmud, I wonder if this is something God would have approved of.
Well, interestingly enough, one of the things we talked about that evening was how the Talmud itself and the rabbis of ancient times lived in the very real world. There are many texts that would shock you and certainly shocked them. What was great, again, was the ability not to wait for these young adults to come into our world and our institutions, but to be able to meet them on their turf and on their terms. It was a very exciting evening.
Talk to us. We have the Passover holiday is almost upon us here, and I just wonder about the engagement of the Jewish community here in South Florida and around the country. There seems to be so much secularism and so many Jews who might identify culturally with the religion, but when it comes to actually practicing it, when it comes to actually sitting down with their family, with their friends, with their neighbors, and having a Passover Seder, maybe they don't do it the way that their parents or their grandparents did. What do you do to try to sort of encourage people to go back and to keep those traditions alive?
I'm thinking we should talk about the study session that we had for a group of our adult leaders. We brought in all sorts of interesting ideas about how to conduct a Seder, ranging from showing contemporary rock and hip-hop videos that relate to the themes of the Haggadah and the Seder. The fact of the matter is that to be a quote-unquote good Jew doesn't necessarily only mean to be religiously engaged.
Right.
It also means to hold fast to the aspirations of the Jewish people. So if a person really believes that they're pursuing social justice and that they're following in a Jewish tradition, they absolutely are doing so.
Rabbi Arnold Samlin, thank you so much. Barbara Johnson, thank you so much. The Orloff Central Agency for Jewish Education in Broward County. Great to meet you both.
Likewise.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.